Welcome to Inside the Honors College, where we believe that wisdom and virtue is found when we learn together. Join us as we take an inside look at a community dedicated to educating the next generation of disciples and scholars. I'm Ellie Overman.
And I'm Taina Esteves. And friends, we got to talk to one of my favorite people on this episode. Kate is an absolute light in my life. I missed having her in Colloquy second semester, but it's so fun because now we get to hear her beautiful story here and her just entire bit on feeling challenged to be better is so important to me. And I love that so much. Don't want to spoil too much of that, but it was so good getting to hear from her and just go and walk through her journey together. It was such a pleasure.
Yeah, her conviction is really inspiring. It was so lovely to get to hear her story. I'm really amazed by her prayer and her faith. She kind of reminds me of Monica, who's Augustine's mom, who became a saint just by praying so much. And she reminds me of that because of her steadfastness. So I'm just so excited for you guys to take a listen. Let's get right into it.
Kate, hello, my friend. How are you doing on this fine day?
I'm good, Taina. I'm excited to be here, and it's really good to see you again. Like, it's been so long.
I know. It's been a hot minute. Kate, I want colloquy with you next semester, but we're not going to say it. So that way, if it happens naturally.
Exactly.
Perfect. So, going to start us off light and easy, make sure that we're both in the vibe here. And unfortunately, for all of our listeners out there, Kate has not watched Avatar: The Last Airbender. So I was going to do a nice nerdy question. Exactly. So we're going to switch it for people who are still, not with the train of Avatar and say, Kate, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? I know it's pretty cliche and nice and easy, but I was going to do elements, but Miss Ma'am doesn't really know what bending is. So we're going to remain nice and cliche with what would your superpower be?
Okay. I feel like I was definitely thinking about this the other day. Probably to teleport. Like, I think especially having friends now in college that live in all different states, and like, since we've been locked up in COVID, just when everything's okay, just teleport everywhere. I think that would be so fun.
I think teleportation is really good, especially if you think of like the science behind it and the implications of what you could do in the future if you were like super strong. Sorry, I got nerdy there for a sec. But yes,
no, you're
good. Love teleportation. Beautiful answer and very on brand for Kate for sure. Speaking of what is on brand for Kate, what was your journey through honors? How did you find out about it? And really, why did you choose to be a part of the Honors College?
Yeah, so like I kind of said, or implied earlier, I'm not from California. I'm from Michigan. Don't want that to be my whole personality trait, but it is pretty important in my story. And so I did a ton of research about APU. Like, literally every prospective student tab that you could click on, I've definitely looked at it. And so I found honors just by clicking through all the different tabs, and I read through it, and I think my admissions counselor recommended it to me. However, my story to actually end up in honors was really a God thing because I had applied to APU and it was my number one choice, but it was way out of my price range. And so I was like, God, I need you to bring it down to this number. And there was a scholarship and program that I really wanted to be a part of. And I was like, I think this could work out, and this will be the way for me to go to APU and I can be in this amazing program and get this great scholarship. Well, turns out March of 2020, my trip to APU gets canceled because of COVID, and I find out that I didn't get the scholarship. And so my number one choice school is way out of my price range, and I've never been there before, and it's like 1,000 miles away. And so I was really stressed, and honestly, I just did a ton of praying for God to show up and provide, because I was like, there's no way. I've looked at all the other scholarships. I don't know how this is feasible. But then I remember in about March or something, so pretty late in the game, when I was seeing everyone already posted that they had decided and stuff, and I was really stressed and sad, and I was like, I just want to know where I'm going. Curtis sent out the email about the additional honors scholarships, and I remember I was still heartbroken over the other one, and I was like, I'll try my best, but I'm not expecting anything. I don't think this is really going to happen. And so I did that, and then I think about a week later, I got an interview and I was like, okay, cool. But I still, like, I did an interview for the last one and I still didn't get it. So I don't think anything's going to come out of it. And then I did the interview with Curtis and I was like, wow, he's so awesome. I really want to go here. Like, he seems so genuinely interested in making a space for me at APU and in the Honors College. And I was like, I really want to go here, but I don't know what's going to happen. And then a couple weeks later, I got a call from Curtis saying that I got the scholarship. And I was so excited. I was like, this is amazing. I can't believe that happened. But however, I was still like, AP was still too expensive. The number that I mentioned before, God hadn't brought it down enough. And so I was like, I still don't think this can work because my dad's business was kind of losing a lot of money because of COVID. And so I was like, with my changing financial situation and just like college, this is too much stress. I can't go here. And then I was still praying because I still really wanted to go to APU no matter what and be in the Honors College. And then a couple weeks later, Curtis called me and said, hey, someone who got the scholarship isn't going to APU and it's yours if you want it and if you want to come here. And I was like, and then God brought it down to that magical number. And that was literally the best day ever, Taina, because God provided and I felt so loved and so wanted by the APU and Honors College community, like so pursued after, unlike any other admissions team during my college search experience. And yeah, that was how I came to APU and the Honors College. So
that is so encouraging, to see the ways, just the power of prayer there, right? And how that looks and how that can just move through your life. And I think it's often underestimated. So I totally hear that. And I'm so glad that you're here and everything worked out for the best on that end.
Thank you.
So nice. This was such a good, I'm sorry. I am gushing a little bit over it because it just works so well. And I honestly do love the power of prayer. And I think it's so underestimated. And so seeing that reflected is just like a witness to your like testimony type thing. That's beautiful. Speaking of just like testimonies and just growing in that, how has the Honors College specifically challenged you through this experience? Like how have you grown while we're talking about it as a disciple in the Honors College? Have you grown as a disciple in the Honors College?
Yeah, for sure. I think that I've grown a lot with my experience in honors, even though I haven't been, like we've been online and we haven't actually been there. I think going on like so many prayer walks to decide to even come to APU changed me a lot and reminded me, like you said, of the power of prayer. But also, I think that the Honors College has just really challenged me to be a better disciple and a better person because I don't know about you, but I think almost every lecture at some point or colloquy, I feel very convicted, but in the best way possible. Like, I'm like, wow, I need to control my appetite or I need to be more wise here in order to benefit everyone else. And like, I don't know, I just feel so challenged, but also supported and encouraged during the call to be challenged and to become better. And also my friends, the friends that I've made in the Honors College have challenged me so much and have made me want to be a better person. And I've never gone to like a Christian school or had like this intersection of school with my faith as like ever. And so just having friends to hold me accountable with my studies and as a disciple has been really cool. And it's just been a brand new experience for me. And I really love it because I love learning with everyone and we're all on this journey together. And it's just been really cool to walk with people. So yeah.
Oh, yes, I'm totally with that. I resonate with a lot of what you're saying. Personally, like on my end, the lectures sometimes I think I don't get as much out of them as I want. So hearing you being able to see something in them all the time, not all the time, but for the most part, getting that feeling of just, hitting it where it needs to hit for you is really good. And I think that speaks to the power of us as students right now, but also what it means to just look for intentional goodness in what you like, you can find that good wherever you need it to be. And I love that so much. I think growing as a disciple is super important. And the fact that you've been able to see that not only in like chapel, but also in just the text that we're learning and the things that we're talking about, And I think the power of you mentioning in community was super big right now because we're going through Acts,
Yes.
and just that looking at the disciples, the Acts of the apostles and going through that as groups and spreading that message and just experiencing them as people was super good. I loved all of that so much, Kate. But alas, I won't rant on all of that. So if you were going to talk to, a prospective student, just because you're talking about, your own just long struggles, prayer walks, hoping to get into APU. If you were going to talk to someone else who was looking to go to APU, specifically like honors college life, what would you tell them about how you will, challenge yourself in your faith? How does this look like as a disciple growing and changing? And, this waiting that you mentioned, the need for God to just move through your life. What would you speak to them about that experience as a prospective student trying to maybe go through the same thing?
Yeah, I think that I would just say, I don't know, I have a lot to say. I feel like just
go for it. Say it all.
Just trusting, like, you're going to need to probably take a big step in your faith journey. When deciding where you're going to go to college is like a huge decision. It's not as huge probably as you think. God will guide you wherever you go, but it's also a really big choice because you're choosing who to surround yourself with, where you're going to learn. Yeah. And I think I still was kind of nervous even after I decided, like, I'm deciding to live my life for 4 years in a place that I've never been, with people I've never met, except for like on phone calls and emails. But I think that if you feel God calling you to be at APU and in the honors college, I feel like you should just say yes. Because one of my professors, actually, Dr. Kern, she said, I can't remember the exact quote, but one of the things that sold me also about going to APU was she said, roughly along the lines of, if you think God is guiding you somewhere, then just go there and he'll redirect you if he needs to. And so I think just taking those steps of faith, whether that's deciding to be in the honors college or just other parts of your journey of being a disciple, just say yes, and God will redirect you if he needs to. And if you're nervous about there not being like a space for you in the honors college, there definitely is. And if this is where God wants you, he will make the way for you to be here. And I don't know, that's also continue to do your research. If you feel weird about like DMing people on Instagram, you can talk to me or like go watch those YouTube videos of dorm move into and like literally it's not weird. Just keep doing that. And I don't know, I hope you feel confident in your decision, because truly if this is where God wants you, like he will make the way. So yeah.
Yes, perfect. Taking us to church, Kate, in the best possible way, comfortable from our own homes and listening. Thank you so much for your vulnerability and being able to, just come and speak to that experience. I really appreciate you and I appreciate your insight. So thank you so much again for doing this for us, Kate.
Thank you, Taina. It's wonderful to see you and talk with you again.
You as well.
Man, I am just in awe of Kate and her prayer and her faith. I kept coming back to this idea that she kind of reminds me of Monica, who was Augustine's mom. She was known for her steadfastness and prayer and just her understanding of the faith. And I'm just such a big fan.
Yeah, that was such a great connection, Ellie. Thank you for that. And thank you, Kate, for participating with us. So thanks to you all for taking an inside look at a community dedicated to educating the next generation of disciples and scholars. See you next time on Inside the Honors College.